I will call the regular meeting of the Lisle Park District Board of Commissioners for Thursday, April 18th, 2024, to order at 7 o'clock. Can I get a roll call vote, please, Ian?
Sure. Commissioner Tapella,
Commissioner Tapella, present.
Commissioner Hummel,
Here.
Commissioner Wessel,
Here.
Commissioner Dombrowski said he'll be absent, and President Alfieri.
Present. Can everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No presentations. Do I have anyone here for public comment this evening? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda as submitted for Thursday, April 18th, 2024.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call vote, Dan?
Sure. Commissioner Wessel,
Aye.
Commissioner Tapella,
Aye.
Commissioner Hummel,
Aye.
President Alfieri.
Aye, motion passes. Consent agenda items. I'll now entertain a motion to approve consent agenda items inclusive of the April 2024 voucher list in the amount of $313,129.65.
Can I pull item E for, just pull item E? So,
Sure.
I guess I'll make a motion to approve, consent agenda items A through D and F.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion regarding any of those items? Hearing none, can I get a roll call vote?
Commissioner Hummel,
Aye.
Commissioner Tapella,
Aye.
Commissioner Wessel.
Aye.
President Alfieri.
Aye, motion passes. Now I'll open it up. Is there a motion to approve number E of the consent agenda items?
Or do we discuss? I guess move to approve. Okay. All right. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I know I've mentioned it before over the years. I know others see value in it, but I still don't know if commissioners should be going out of state for conferences. Staff is fine, but I still, because of the cost, I still am a little reluctant with commissioners going out of state for the national conference. I mean, I've been saying that for years, so that's all I was gonna say.
Any other discussion?
I'm curious, Dan, have we ever had staff attend these events? And is it open, and it's open and an option for them as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's, don't know off the top of my head how many staff are budgeted. Usually send at least.
Okay, great.
And I mean, I think we've always at least had one commissioner go to conference. Usually, I mean, I've been there years where we've had three that go. I guess the only thing I could say is that without having been Tom, there's a giant benefit. I mean, not only just networking within our community, the educational value is really unbelievable, just with, things we've learned even from as far as pursuing OSLAD grants and the best ways to go about that. Just learning how to be a better commissioner and, learning content about park districts.
That would be like the OSLE grant would be more in the state.
But they do talk about other grant opportunities. There's all different educational topics that are addressed at conference sessions.
Yeah, no, I won't belabor the point. I did go 2 years ago, Terry. I enjoyed it. It was actually kind of eye-opening just to see how big it is and all the stuff that's going on. Tom, I know your feelings on it. That's fine. Terry, if you get the chance, I don't know what your personal schedules look like. It is something to look into. I would recommend.
Yeah. I know I'd love to, in future years, have the opportunity to go. This year doesn't work with my schedule, unfortunately. But I think it's great that we send folks, especially staff. I do think it's important that staff go, obviously. But I think having representation from the board is important because it not only shows community support, not that the staff doesn't support the community, but it shows support for the commissioners themselves as well.
With that, can I have a roll call vote, Dan?
Commissioner Wessel,
Aye.
Commissioner Capella,
Aye.
Commissioner Hummel,
No.
President Alpeter.
Aye, motion passes. Communications, none. Public comment is submitted in your board packet. Oh, sorry, backwards, sorry. Unfinished business, we have Sea Lion Aquatic Park existing conditions analysis. There is a report in your board packet. Anyone have any specific questions that were not addressed previously that they'd like to discuss?
I sent mine in an email, so, and I think the rest of the board was,
We were copied
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it, yeah. All right. Is everyone comfortable moving on with what's submitted?
Mhm.
Yep.
Without further discussion? Okay. New business,
you have to
do.
make a motion.
oh,
though.
motion.
Yeah. Make a motion to approve the Sea Lion Aquatic Park condition analysis. In the amount of 38,000. Is that, I don't,
Yeah.
I haven't turned it right. Yeah, I got it here. I got it now. Hang on, or no, I don't have it now.
Plus
I got
reimbursable
it here.
expenses.
Yeah, plus reimburse. Okay, so I move to authorize staff to execute the attached letter of agreement for a Sea Lion Aquatic Park Aquatics Facility assessment in the amount of 38,000 plus reimbursable expenses.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any other discussion?
Do we have a rough idea how much those reimbursable expenses would be though?
I would know, but I will do what we can, keep them to a minimum.
Okay.
And what a lot of times they come down to is, that may need to print, prints, but we've got copies of them. How many copies of the final report? We'll just request that they be given to us electronically, and then anyone who needs a hard copy, we can just provide them ourselves. So it's just travel expenses. So we'll do what we can to limit those with the ability to have virtual meetings. I think that could cut down on that exposure as well.
And with this group being local, travel expense would be limited to over the road, right? We're not talking about flights and hotels and all that. Okay.
They're in Itasca, the
Yeah.
architects are in Itasca, and I don't know, I think the WT group is in Palatine. So they're local.
Do you think there'd be how many multiple visits you think they would take to the facility? Would just be one, or like they'll come out a handful of times?
Be a couple of times. We want to get them out, actually, we're hoping to get them out next week to at least do an examination of the pool shells, because our facility team wants to start getting water in the pools next week, because lifeguard training needs to hopefully start the week of, what, May 13th?
No, we'll be done the weekend prior to that. We'll start our first group.
So it'll be in the guard's best interest, we can get water in there and get the heaters in. But then after that, probably a couple of visits with some of their subs.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, can I get a roll call vote, Dan?
Yes, Commissioner Hummel,
Aye.
Commissioner Capella,
Aye.
Commissioner Wessel,
Aye.
President Alpeter.
Aye, motion passes. We'll entertain a motion to award the Tatewood Park Oslad Grant Development Project to E. Hoffman, Inc. in the amount of $1,068,679.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Very excited.
Hearing none, can I have a roll call vote, Dan?
Commissioner Hummel,
Aye.
Commissioner Capella,
Aye.
Commissioner Wessel,
Aye.
President Alpeter.
Aye, motion passes. I think we're all pretty excited about that, quite honestly. Next, I'll entertain a motion to adopt resolution 041824, a resolution ratifying and approving the emergency expenditure of funds without competitive bidding for the purchase of a fleet vehicle in the amount not to exceed $85,000.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can we get a roll call vote, Dan?
Yes, Commissioner Capella,
Aye.
Commissioner Wessel,
Aye.
Commissioner Hummel,
Aye.
President Alpeter.
Aye, motion passes. We have staff reports as submitted. Were there any questions regarding any of the reports submitted? Although, I mean, I guess just to Dan or to John.
Aaron's on too.
Oh, okay.
Superintendent Serby, I should say.
Oh, hi, Aaron.
Hello.
Any questions? Nothing?
No questions, just awesome comment, seeing the numbers registered for summer programs. I mean, even with the expansion and the added headcount, it's amazing. So,
Thank you.
cool.
Great, and we'll see you there.
Yep, we'll see them.
C-SPAR report. Officer reports. Have nothing. Treasurer report.
We'll fill in for Superintendent Silver. As is reported every month, all investments are FDIC insured or collateralized. Summer registration, as you see in the staff reports, is gone really strong opening. Financially though, because this registration began April 1st, the financials don't reflect that very strong week of registration. So we'll expect to see those numbers shift and get caught up in next month's report. Golf course is, as you can see, is doing much better than what even last year. It was a strong start, fairly strong start last year. And the enterprise fund in general is 22,000, almost 23,000 ahead of last year's pace, and that's without even the restaurant revenue that we were realizing last year. So we feel pretty positive about things so far this season.
Can I add something?
Yes.
For the camp numbers and all the summer registration, we're on a deferred revenue structure, so the money is actualized on the first day of the program. So future information, it would be, once June comes and goes, then we'd see those numbers hit.
Thank you.
Any other questions on that? No. Any other commissioner reports?
The only thing I'll say is when I got the Park and Recreation magazine, I think it came in the with the board packet. I know there was an article about marine environment, and big part was like they were showing like all the plastic they were taking out of well, not just the oceans, but like rivers and lakes. And I know I brought it up before, and I know it's kind of a pain for staff, but is there any chance of still looking at doing recycling in the park? I know it could be, people wind up throwing garbage in there, kind of spoils it, but that's the first question. And the second question, if, maybe kind of as an education, like maybe some small signage in your garbage can just to promote not to litter, because that's one of my big pet peeves when whether it's a forest preserve or parks or just driving on roads and stuff and you see all litter. I don't know if there's a way to put like some signage just to kind of hopefully like encouragement not to litter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Yeah.
unreasonable. We try to limit the amount of signs. in the
Sure.
park.
Yeah. I mean, that's small, nothing like all over the place, but yeah.
I think what we can do too is during some of the special events, like the summer concerts, encourage people to pick up after themselves. The recycling, Aaron, you're on, do you see any improved behavior in being able to avoid contamination in the recycling bins that we used to put out there?
No, it's terrible.
We
They
tried it
just,
twice.
the general public, we put the recycle bins out and it ends up being just another garbage container. And then we've had the guys in the past, some of them that are a little more passionate about recycling, want to pick through it. But I mean, it becomes a time consuming, whatever. It's really crazy, but I mean, you maybe get 10% of stuff in the recycle bin and the rest of it's all junk garbage.
And I think if I recall, didn't we get, then if you do have without recycle, you get fined.
Sure.
We would get a fee, right? We got a
Yeah.
penalty. So then it was starting to cost us more money because was it $25 a bag or $50?
No, if a container is contaminated, I think it's a $96 charge for the time that they empty that 8-yard container if it's contaminated.
Carrie, I'd be curious when you go to conference in October. I mean, we're not the only park
100%.
district that deals with something like this. If anyone has anything innovative around this, like something that's worked well for them, be kind of a cool topic to be able to dig into.
We were going to make a push during our special events to provide recycling. I think that's a more strategic way to start to try to get people in the habit. And we can certainly, I can include things like that. Maybe we can do something in the seasonal program guide to promote recycling in the parks. The Green Trails Pathfinder, their newsletter, they've always been very accommodating whenever we've wanted to do anything. So we can make some strides to do it, but it's tough to
The
do
one
it.
group that's most receptive to recycling is usually the soccer players, because there's so many water bottles out there. So we've noticed that a lot of times they'll collect the recycling on their own and just leave it for the guys. So that's always been nice, but they're about the only group that's been 100% reliable, and they do it on their own.
I will say we've had an uptick in different volunteer groups come into community parks specifically and doing litter pickups. Over the past 3 weeks, we probably had 5 different groups. We have another one scheduled for this weekend, from the high school track team to Lisle Women's Club and a variety of others. So at the very least, we are getting a little bit of extra assistance from the public to help keep things clean.
I guess, I'm sorry. go
I
ahead.
say something more, it's obviously probably years down the road, but like when and if we put a second boat ramp in by that Pulte development, which by the way, I can hear the machines at our house. I don't know if the sound carries, but like they are moving dirt. Like, I don't know, between the 2 boat ramps, if there's something you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's something that the
That's
paddling community
yeah.
had told me early on, that their stewardship between launches to do clean river sweeps and things like that are ongoing. So that should be a low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
I guess just to follow up to it, the conversation is I know last month you were saying that there was like people putting their own garbage in our garbage. bins. Has that continued or has that improved? Or I know it's only been a month, but
It improved over at Coach House Park where we had the problem. And so, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but the sign, we removed the sign because it was no longer an issue there, but they had to move the sign to Sun Valley Park. Where, so it's almost like squeezing the balloon, you're solving problems somewhere else.
Mhm.
That sign will get its way around town. I think I mentioned to Joe Boda that it's gonna be like the Flat Stanley. It's gonna just move around town with this sign. So it's ineffective, but it's, like I said, it may stop somewhere, but it picks up somewhere else ongoing.
You should stamp the back of the sign with every park it's visited.
Is there any other commissioners that have any reports? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Can I get a roll call vote?
Sure. Commissioner Russell,
Aye.
Commissioner Tapella,
aye.
Commissioner Hummel,
Aye.
President Altheater.
Aye. The meeting is adjourned at 7:18.